If you've clicked upon this video, you are probably either a server owner or a server dev looking for videos or tutorials on how to use Itemedit, or you were a random person on the internet who decided to be curious about what this video was about. Either way, good job. You've stumbled into the right. Yeah, anyways. So, what exactly is Itemedit? Well, if you watched the last video that I doled out like a week ago or something, if you'd watched that video, you would know that you already know that item tag is for right click commands, for applying effects, for maybe if you want messages upon right clicking, then you can add messages, consume, making any item consumable. For example, this very fancy axe, you want to be able to eat this, you can do that. But how about for other things? Well, for everything other than what I just named regarding an item, you can use Itemedit. How is Itemedit relevant? Now this does 500 damage. Watch. Gone. Eviscerated. Demolished. What else can you do with this? You can make multiple colored names, you can make gradient names and whatnot with very simple syntax. For example, you can use the basic hex codes, or you can use Minecraft's hex codes, whatever you'd like. Name your choice. However, what else can you do? Hide the attributes. What else can you do? Enchant. What else can you do? Well, if you've ever needed 50 iron swords stacked atop each other, now you have them. Because why not? Exactly. Good logic. Anyways, what else will you ever need to make an item? Probably nothing. See, there are literally more options than you will be able to learn within less than a minute. See, that's a clear sign that this is professional. Anyhow, durability, what does this do? 100. This still hasn't lost any durability, because if you were paying attention to what I was saying, you would know that I typed IE unbreakable true. Anyways, it's lost durability. Exactly 100. If I do 1000, it's one time use. If I do 1, it's almost full durability. And if you want it back to max, you just do 0. It's as simple as that. What else do you need? Maybe you've accidentally made the wrong kind of item. You need to switch it out for another kind of item. Well, I've got just the thing for you, buddy. You ever wanted to swap a golden sword with air? You can't. Just throw it out. But have you ever really wanted to swap it out for an acacia log? Or maybe acacia planks? An acacia boat? You can do all of that with just one command. In fact, everything I'm wearing, look at these. Look at all these cool items. You see these? All of those are made with item tag and Itemedit. You may have noticed I mentioned a familiar name if you watched the last video. Item tag. Yeah, these have right click things as well. And effects. Why did nothing pop up? You may be wondering. You may be wondering. However, it's because it's because I'm an idiot. No, I'm kidding. It's because no one is here right now. The item tag on that item is supposed to execute on every entity except the person holding it. See, you can clearly tell by this comprehensive set of commands that what I'm saying is absolutely correct. Okay, anyways, this one is on me. Yeah. So these are made with both Itemedit and item tag, and that's why you should go and check out the last video I was doled out like a week ago, because that will tell you all you need to know about item tag. Anyways, back on track. What have you really learned from this video so far? Probably nothing, because I'm a slow guide, but it's fine. It's fine. It's comprehensive. So, what do you need to know? You may have seen me doing all these commands, but you might have not really read what I'm really doing. So let me just go over all those again. First of all, if you want to make an item unbreakable, i.e. unbreakable true. If you want to make it no longer unbreakable, just set it to false. Simple. Also, a shortcut for true is just i.e. unbreakable, and you can just set it to false. Anyways, next one. If you want to enchant an item per se above the normal amount of 5, 6, 1, 3, whatever enchant you're using, you can just type the enchant name, i.e. enchant, and then just put a number. It does cap out at 255 because that is the limit that Minecraft has. However, you can edit that in the code, but that's very advanced and whatnot, so I don't suggest going for it unless you are good at coding. Anyhow, you can actually have a substitute for these enchants above 255 using attributes, i.e. attribute add attack damage 500. This is above sharpness 255 because each level of sharpness gives 0.5 more damage. 0.5 is about half a heart. Now, you may have seen me only using a few commands, but you may have seen other commands throughout this video while I was scrolling, if you are paying attention, that is. Well, you can simply go over to let's go to a book, i.e. book author. You can make the author of this book anyone. See, if I just say this is signed by me, but how about I want to make the book author the viewer? Now it's signed by viewer. See, simple as that. And you can also use IE lore as a substitute. IE lore add or IE lore set. There's a lot to see here. I can explain that in a later video. But IE lore set 1 E, and now it's E. You have noticed that didn't work out. That's because this doesn't count as lore. This counts as everything other than lore because Mojang decided so. Or well, Microsoft rather, depends. So, how do you change this? How do you change this? Simple. You don't. Anyways, you can also rename an item using IE rename, and you can put any name. If you don't put anything, it's just gonna be blank. Like, see, if I kill something with this per se, that didn't give any message because that wolf wasn't tamed. See, you're learning. Anyways, and see, killed by absolutely nothing. If even if you hover over it, you won't see the name because it has no name. You can also use gradient names if you'd like. You can pick out a website of your choice, or if you want, you can take the longer alternative to learn how hex codes work. But yeah, that's on you. That's on you. You can. I'll make a video on that as well, I suppose. Anyhow, what else can you do? I.e., book enchant. If you take a book, you want this to be a sharpness book. Well, sharpness 10. Now this is sharpness 10 book. It can be applied via an anvil and it will apply sharpness 10. Why didn't this work? Because Microsoft, see, it caps out at the normal limit. However, it's still decent for cosmetics. If you actually want, you can merge Itemedit and item tag to be able to make a book apply an enchant higher than its normal limit via a right click command with a delay. You can go and check out my older video to get a slight idea of that if you know what you're doing. But anyhow, next. Color. You may have noticed this. What is color? That didn't work. Because as you may be seeing in the chat, this is based on RGB colors. What is RGB? RGB stands for red, green, blue. It's a system to define colors. You can probably tell that, but if you didn't know, well, you're welcome. Basically, almost every color, or well, practically every color, is made up using red, green, and blue to a certain degree at least. So, this system allows you to get practically every color. So, if I want a whitish color, we can just do this. Now, this is white. If you want black, now that's black. Simple. Now, what if you want to make an item look cool like these? See, you can add lore using the set of commands that I just did. See, I lore add. You can add anything after this. You can also use hex codes in this or the standard Minecraft color codes. Then there's also ilore set, with which you can set any line of the already added lore to whatever you'd like. You can also choose replace, you can choose reset, you can choose remove, you can copy paste lore from one item to another, like and done. And that's basically all you need to know about Itemedit on, well, on the surface at least. For anything advanced that you're looking to make, you should probably look into that yourself, but if you really need, I will be making a tutorial on that later on. Thank you. Also, you should join this server. As you can see on the sideboard, there is the IP. It's probably hard to see, so I'll type it out. It's also in the description of the channel, and I'll also be putting it in the description of the video. Thank you.